Welcome to AMP, the platform for multisport age group athletes to showcase their journeys. Welcome along to episode 10. Thanks for listening. My name's Richard Conway, your host and creator of the Agegroup Multisport podcast. And thanks also for the reviews and sharing with your tribe and helping us grow. My deal with a multisport audience is to give you interesting and inspiring content, and at the very least, keep you entertained while running or turboing. So on episode 10, we've gone truly global. We chat to 80-year-old Alf Lakin all the way from the Gold Coast, Australia. I came across Alf on Facebook on one of the Triathlon Hub pages and was truly inspired. And it was round about the time that we lost our own, also inspirational Maurice Young. So I started following him and looking back on his history, realised he was already a big deal in Australia, having been interviewed for Australian TV and bagging himself a major sponsor deal with Decathlon, the worldwide sports retailing company. Alf tells everybody how serious he is about representing his country. Alf not only is an inspiration to the multisport community, but also to the wider senior community who he tries to inspire by giving inspirational speeches. He gets great satisfaction from seeing youngsters 20 years his junior starting to compete in triathlon. Really enjoyed this one. I hope you do too. So here he is, the 80-year-old legend all the way from Australia. Hi Alf, welcome to AMP.
Thank you very much. It's been I'm sorry about the last couple of weeks. It was a bit of a problem, but the local football here with this COVID-19 moved all the teams into our state and they've been playing games everywhere.
Yeah, no worries about that. That's fine. We got there in the end, didn't we?
That's the main thing, yep.
So how are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. A bit sad on what's happened this year with the COVID. This time now I should be in Edmonton competing at the World Championships in the 80-plus age group, but unfortunately we're not, and a lot of our stuff in Australia has all been cancelled as well. But our first one starts up in about a month's time, so which is good.
Has it got worse? Because we've heard reports that things have gone back in sort of like backwards.
Oh, yes. In Victoria, which we live in Queensland, which is the top half of Australia, and ours is pretty well under control. But in Victoria, they're having a lot of trouble down there.
Yeah. I was actually over at the Gold Coast in 2018 racing.
Oh, at the World Championships.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I raced in them as well. Yeah, that was quite a good day, wasn't it?
It was absolutely fantastic.
What did you think of the course? It was pretty flat.
It was very flat, yeah, but it was all right because it was a drafting race, wasn't it? So it wasn't so bad.
Yeah. Well, we only live. In actual fact, the bike course went right past my house.
Did it really?
We only live about 10 minutes from the start of the race, so it was very good for me.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You're such a lucky man living there. It's an absolute brilliant place.
It's a beautiful place, but my wife and I went to London for the first time after Rotterdam,
right? And
we spent a week or so there, and I absolutely loved the place.
Yeah. I think I prefer the Gold Coast to London, to be fair.
Oh yeah. I'm talking as purely as a visitor.
Yeah. Fantastic. No, we had a great time. Want to go back someday as well because it's just fabulous. The whole experience, the race organisation, and
Yeah, it was very well done.
It was absolutely brilliant. Great experience. So, if you want to tell me a little bit about your background, a little bit about growing up and your sporting achievements, and then basically how you got into triathlon.
As you know, in a couple of weeks' time, I turn 80, so I've had a lot of years behind me. Yeah, I was born. Well, it's funny. They're celebrating 75 years of the war finishing today in Japan.
Right.
And I remember that day. I was only 5. I remember the people jumping in the street, which is interesting. But I I went to a school. I played rugby league at school, not rugby union or football as you call it. And in the early days, I used to do athletics, and I done athletics, track and field up until I turned 40, and then I joined the Masters Athletics. And then during that time, I done quite well. I won an Australian championship in the pentathlon. I've run about 7 marathons over the last few years. The last one was a few years ago now.
Yeah.
I've run quite a few half marathons, and now I belong to the Queensland Masters Athletics. But a couple of years ago, I stepped down. I was president for the local club here for a very long time, but I stepped down to concentrate on my triathlon.
Yeah.
I started triathlons back in 1975.
Right.
Just before my 75th birthday. And I started in a little small one, only a couple of 100-metre swim, and I bought an old bike from Kmart. I don't know whether you have Kmart over there, but
We haven't, but I know they're a big supermarket. Yeah.
Yeah, and it only cost a few dollars, type of thing. And that was my first bike, and then the next event I competed at Australian Championships, and I finished up getting a silver medal in my age group.
Fantastic.
And then I went on, and then the following year I qualified, and I went to Cozumel.
Right.
And Cozumel was absolutely, I loved Cozumel. Different culture altogether.
Yeah.
And I absolutely. No, and then it was just a fantastic. My first World Championship, wearing the Australian uniform.
Yeah.
It was absolutely great,
Yeah.
I went to Rotterdam, and then but my last year I went to Lausanne.
Yeah.
And I had in the bike leg coming into transition. The bike, I still don't remember because I was knocked out.
Oh no!
Had a big crash. Broke my shoulder, and that put an end to Lausanne.
Yeah.
But I got back on the water after a couple of months, and I got back on the bike again. You can't let these things worry. You've just got to keep going, keep on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just keep doing it. So I'm in training. I mean, as I say, I'm in the 80 to 84 age group, and I'm loving every minute of it. People say to me, well, I put something on Facebook today, and they said I was insane for what I do at my age. But when you love something, to me, you just got to keep doing it.
That's it. Absolutely, yeah, totally agree.
And I have great support. I love all the people. I'm always down near the end somewhere, and all the support you get along the way. They cheer you along, and it just makes you feel like somebody.
Yeah.
And the guys up the front, they're zooming past me. They're all the good boys, and they're getting accolades, and so am I. Good on you, Alf. And they call me Alfie because I've got Alfie on my wetsuit, on my dry suit.
Yeah.
And as they go past me, good on you, Alfie. And I've got great support from my club here. It's called T-Rex Triathlon Club.
Right.
And it is it's the biggest club on the Gold Coast. It's absolutely fantastic, and they really look after me.
Yeah.
And of course, I won't mention them here, but the only reason I've gone to world titles and got going is sponsors. I've had sponsors. Like I've got 2 bikes given to me, brand new ones,
Yeah.
And I've had this, and I have people look after as far as vitamins and things like that, and all my clothing. Well, you probably know Decathlon Sportswear.
Yeah. I saw it on Facebook that you'd been sponsored by them. That's a fantastic achievement.
Yeah. So it's pretty good, but I've still got to train. I've still got to get out there and do it. It's just they're not going to give me all this if I don't finish nothing.
No, that's true.
I want to thank you. It's a privilege to be asked to do something like this, particularly from a person a long way away from where I live, 20,000 kilometres away.
I think it's just fantastic that we can actually do it. The technology that we've got now is just unbelievable.
It's like I'm sitting in my lounge room and I can see me cat on the floor down there just looking at me, wondering what the hell's going on. And it's great. It's fantastic, mate. Yeah.
It is. It's amazing. Yeah, it really is. So tell me a little bit about your process. I know you said you're in a club and you get really well looked after. So
yes.
for you to, I mean, in normal circumstances, how do you go about your process for choosing races and actually training for them and getting ready for your A races?
As I say, I belong to a club. I do most of the training on my own because I am the oldest in the club, and the next one to me is about 20 years younger than me.
Yeah.
So I do all my own training, and then I look at the race program and I think, well, I want to do that race in 3 months' time. So leading up to that, I might do a couple of small triathlons, and I use that basically as a sprint before I go into the longer triathlons. But I train around 6 days a week.
Right.
Some days I get 2 sessions in a day.
Yeah.
But like a lot of things, I do get tired, so I've got to have that rest day.
Yeah, important.
And all this. But I just set myself the program at the start of the year, look at them all, and then decide on what I'll do when they're getting. So now I'm thinking now of the world's Multisport Championships next year in the Netherlands.
Almere.
Almere, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, that's my goal. But leading up to that, there's an Australian Championship, and there's a couple of this and a couple of that. So that's my ultimate goal, is to get to Almere.
Right. Okay. And what's the process for qualifying over in Australia?
Well, you've got to go in a race. We have qualifying races.
Right, yeah.
And as you know, they accept 20 in a team. So you've got to be in the top 20.
Yeah.
But in my age group, there's probably only 6 or 7 of us doing it. So as long as you do the race, you've qualified for Australia.
Right. Yeah.
But like the younger groups, the 40s and 50s, they might have to do 3 or 4 races just to get plenty of points so they can stay in the top 20.
Yeah. So it's pretty much the same as what we've got over here.
Yeah, much the same. I've looked at your system over there. It's much the same. Yeah, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
But as we get older, I've always said, as you get older, the closer you get to gold medals to stay alive.
That's true, but you've still got to, like you said earlier, you've still got to do all the training, haven't you? And that's the key.
Still got to train. I still got to do the same amount of work as a young bloke's got to do, only I do it a lot slower.
Absolutely. And, if it was that easy, everybody at nearly 80 would be doing it.
Everybody would be doing it. That's exactly right, yeah.
Have you got a coach, Alf?
No, I have a mentor. She owns the Triathlon Club that I belong to, and she gives me a lot of tips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I haven't actually got a physical coach. No, I haven't.
Have you ever had one?
For a while, but she let me down. This is a few years ago now.
Okay.
And it's not long after started, and she let me down. So I thought, well, I'll just go and do. As I say, I've done a lot of training myself and coaching in athletics.
Yeah.
So what I've done is I've worked my training around my athletic coaching.
Yeah.
Your long stuff, your short stuff, your hard stuff, and stuff like that. And that's what I've based my coaching on for the bike, for the swim, and for the run. Yeah,
well, it seems to be doing you well anyway.
Well, I'm happy with it, and I think that's if I feel I'm doing all right, well, it's doing all right.
That's the main thing. Yeah. What's your favourite part of the whole multisport then? The whole process?
Well, I don't like the swimming part, so we'll leave that one alone. But the running, the bike riding and the running, even though I've had a few little crashes on the bike, but I still like getting on the bike and riding along. It always feels good,
Yeah.
And I know once I come out of that water, And I say, thank God I'm out of there. And then I'll get on the bike. And I come from a running background.
Yeah, sure.
So the running is probably the best part. And also, I'm getting close to the finish.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's a good point. I like that answer. Yeah.
Because my aim is to start. And if I start, I want to finish. And it doesn't matter where I've come, I want a gold medal in my own heart.
That's absolutely right. Yeah. That's brilliant answer. From a diet point of view, Alf, what sort of things are you eating? It intrigues me because we've got a guy in our club who's 75. He's still working for his own business, and he's an inspiration to us all. To be fair, and like you, he's qualified for GB in several races. So it always interests me when you get into your age. What's your diet like?
I don't eat anything special. I've just had normal food all my life. Yeah. I do have some vitamins and things, but I eat plenty of fruit. I drink water. But no, I just eat ordinary food. I like me desserts and things like that. There's nothing special in my diet whatsoever.
No. And what do you eat before a race then?
Well, before a race, for a couple of hours before, I always have my Vitabrits. I have Vitabrits every morning. I have done 4 Vitabrits every morning. I'll have that, and I'll have some toast, and then I'll just drink water. And during the race, I might have something to like a something, there's little bags to suck on and take some carbs in,
Yeah. Can you just explain what Vitabrits are?
Gels they call. Sorry.
Yeah. Can you just explain what Vitabrits are?
Oh, you don't know what they are?
No.
Bix Vitabrits. It's a breakfast cereal.
Right.
And it's made by Kellogg's.
Like a Weetabix.
Yeah, well, you probably call them Weetabix, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I've got that now.
I forget I'm talking to
England. Yeah. There's not many differences, but subtle differences.
That's right, mate. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. What hints and tips could you give to anyone wanting to do a multisport race, and also age groupers, especially around about your age, who look at you and think, "Wow, that's inspirational. How can I qualify for my country?"
Well, I get annoyed, providing the person's in good health and doesn't have a bad disease. They say, "Oh, I can't do anything." See, I don't believe in that. My great belief, you can't do nothing when you're dead.
Absolutely.
So, while you're alive, you could do, you haven't got to go and do an Ironman or a triathlon, but there's walking, there's even jogging, there's everything to exercise for us older people. And if we don't exercise, we freeze up.
Yeah.
But it's never too late. Death is too late.
Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it. Great way of looking at it.
Yep. I do a few talks to. I'm doing one next week to a pension group.
Yeah.
Just to have a talk, and not to tell them to do triathlon, but just move the body a bit more.
Yeah. And do you do a few of those, Alf?
Oh, not many, but I'd like to get into do a lot of them actually, because I feel I've got a story to tell.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, you definitely have. Have you had any success stories from those talks? Have you found that people look at you and they've actually took it on board?
I know since I've taken it up, there's probably a half a dozen people that I know have come and started to do triathlons.
Wow.
A lot younger than me, but in their 50s and 60s, and they've taken the sport up.
Yeah.
So I think that's good.
That's fantastic.
Because they enjoy the sport,
Yeah.
And one thing, and one thing, if it's raining, you can't run or ride, so you go for a swim, or vice versa. You can always do something.
Absolutely, yeah. So that just goes to show what you're doing is working,
Yeah, you just got to put it all into perspective, and you got to listen. I mean, one of my biggest sponsors is my doctor,
Right.
And she's very, very good. I mean, she just brings me in just to check me over, type of thing. So which is great. But listen to your body. Don't overdo it, and always exercise within your own means.
Yeah. Wise words, Alf. Wise words.
Thank you.
What are your favourite pieces of equipment that you've got?
Well, I suppose everything. I love me 2 bikes. I like getting into a tri-suit because I don't train in a tri-suit. I have racing clothes and just training gear.
Yeah.
And as soon as I put the tri-suit on, I think, oh God, I'm Superman now. But if I go for a swim, I just have normal swimming trunks on and swim in those. I go for a run, just a singlet and running shorts and all the bike gear.
Yeah.
But once I put that Australian tri-suit on, or my own tri-suit, I feel like I'm a different person altogether because I'm out there to do something and I've had to train to get to that spot.
Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it. Actually, I've never thought of that. It's like a superhero's mask or cape, isn't it?
Well, I do not, and I never have. I do not train in stuff that I'm going to race in.
Right.
All through my running career, I have my special racing gear, and I might have a couple of runs just to get it ready.
Yeah.
And I like my shoes well worn in. Of course, I always run in those or ride a bike. And no, I mean, yes, I'm telling a little bit of a fib. I do ride my bike training, and I ride that in a race, but I haven't got my racing gear on.
Yeah, I understand.
I've only got ordinary bike gear.
Yeah, but there isn't any one specific thing you really like, sort of like using, or some people it's a pair of trainers, or it's the watch that they use, or the bike.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. Oh yes, I use one of these watches that tells me everything, and that I love doing, because when I come home I put it into my computer, and that way I can look back 2 years or 3 years and see how I've been going. But over the years, I've always kept a training book, no matter what I've been doing in my life. So I've got books here, goes back years, you know.
Right, yeah, got you.
I think that's important. Always put down what you've done.
Yeah, I think it's so easy these days, isn't it, with technology? Because all my gear's linked into Strava, so everything I've done's on Strava. So it's just so easy. Right. It just goes straight from your watch onto Strava, doesn't it? Or wherever.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, I'm on Strava.
Oh, I'll have to look you up then.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, yeah.
Nice one. How were you after your fall? I noticed on Facebook you'd had a bit of a fall. What happened?
Yeah, right. Well, I was wearing a pair of older shoes. I thought I'll try these and see how they feel. And they were and as soon as I got home, I threw them straight out, because the shoe actually bent and tripped me over.
Ah, right.
Okay. I've got a few bits of skin missing, but skin grows back. And I had a ride this morning. I done a 20k ride this morning, and I'll go for another bit of a jog tomorrow and a swim.
Yeah. So nothing damaged too much. You're all right.
No, not at this stage. No. And my wrist is a bit sore with my hand, but I tried to stop myself.
Yeah.
But that's all right today. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
Someone said I'm a tough old bugger, but probably also insane.
Well, you know what? It's probably a lifestyle that's if you weren't doing what you were doing and you'd fallen over, you might have broken something. So it's probably.
Well, yeah, that fall in Lucerne last year. I mean, my shoulder. Well, the bone still sticks out of my shoulder.
Yeah.
But I didn't put it in because they said it's not worthwhile putting it back. Just leave it there.
Right. Well, you've got the wounds. You've got the war wounds to show for it, eh?
Well, if you haven't got wounds, well, you haven't done nothing.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The scars show that you've been living, don't they?
Yeah, you've got to have war with it. When I took my first spill on a bike, because I hadn't ridden a bike for over 60 years when I went on, and I had a spill early, and they said, "Well, welcome to triathlon."
Yeah. Yeah, if you haven't fell off your bike, I always tell people this: if you haven't fell off your bike, you're not a proper cyclist.
No, that's right, because you're not putting the work into it, you know.
Yeah, and those drafting races can be a bit hairy at times.
Yeah, well, I don't draft at all. I stay away from that.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with people that can really ride bikes, and well, to be truthful, I can't keep up with them anyway.
Yeah, that's
so unless
brilliant.
I've got an old bloke about the same age as me, but him and I draft together because we're too bloody old to do anything else.
That's fabulous. I love it.
Yeah.
I believe that your wife competes, does she?
Yeah, well, she runs in Masters Athletics. She's a track and field person.
Okay.
And she's an 800, 400 metre runner.
Cool.
And I remember my first triathlon I went in, I had the bike, she's on the sideline, I come out of the water, run straight past my bike, and she's screaming at me to go back because my bike was further back.
Yeah.
But without her, she's I tell everybody she's my manager.
Yeah.
She makes sure everything's packed and everything's ready to go, and she checks it and stuff like that,
It's great to have somebody who's interested and helps along.
No, she's a great help. Matter of fact, in Lucerne, just a little story, she never heard that I was in the medical tent when someone texted her from Australia.
Oh, wow.
Because it was coming live stream, and they could hear over the microphone, "Does anyone know whereabouts of Mrs. Lakin?" telling her husband's in the medical tent. So they texted her from Gold Coast to Lucerne, and that's how she found me.
Oh, wow.
She was waiting at the at T2 and thinking, "Geez, I'm taking a long time to get there."
Yeah.
Well, I was in the bloody medical centre.
Oh, dear.
But it's all fun. You put it behind you and just move on, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're doing absolutely fantastic, and you are an inspiration to us all.
Thanks, mate.
It's really nice to talk to you and to hear your story. And thanks for coming on, Amp. And I think we can wrap it up there, unless you've got anything else you'd like to add.
Not really, mate. Okay, mate.
Stay safe, stay healthy.
Right.
Love the process.
See you later. Stay safe, mate. See you later.
Yeah, cheers, Alf. Wow, as I said in the intro, what an inspiration. I hope that we can all strive to be as enthusiastic and as motivated as Alf as we get on in our years. He certainly is living the life, and what a place to live it. Thanks again, Alf. Loved hearing your journey. Good luck when we get back to racing. Thanks for listening, and if you want to get in touch, you can email agegroupmultisportpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram at amp_67, Facebook at ampgb, and Twitter at agegroupmultisportpodcast. And please subscribe, rate and review our podcast. So till next time, stay safe, keep training and love the process.